This is New York's #1 news, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. With Ken Rosato and Shirley Nalicott, Heather O'Rourke with traffic, and Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Now, Eyewitness News this morning.
Lots of changes to this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Spectators will not be allowed. A live report this morning about the reimagined event.
We're also following breaking news. The Supreme Court has ruled New York cannot put a coronavirus capacity limit on houses of worship. More on what it means for the state's COVID-19 restrictions.
And a wet start on this Thanksgiving Day. Sam Champion tracking what it looks like in terms of a rainy holiday. But at least it's going to be like 187 degrees. Good morning on this Thursday, November 26th, Thanksgiving Day. I'm Ken Rosato.
I'm Toni Yates in for Shirley Nalicott. You're never more than 7 minutes away from traffic and weather, beginning with Sam Champion and the AccuWeather forecast.
Wait, I was just changing my graphics to 187 degrees.
Well, in the oven it'll be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it feels 64. It's close, Ken. Let's get outside. We'll show you what it looks like outside right now. So here's what's happening. We've got that heavy rain moving across the area right now. A little bit of a breeze picked up. If you're up with us this early this morning because you've got to get to work, good morning. 56 degrees is where we are. Light south winds in general, just kind of stirring around the area. If you're up because you can't sleep, still good morning. Nice to see you. 58 degrees at about 7 a.m. this morning. Now watch the heavy rain lighten up a little bit as we go through the morning hours. A quick look at the radar will kind of show you the game that we're playing with the rain this morning. Heavy burst of rain first, back off to the west. There's another line of rain that's got to come through here, and these embedded areas of heavy rain are moving north in that line. So we're going to have some showers for a while. We'll talk about when it all shuts down and what's ahead for the day. But here's Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Sam. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. On the Garden State Parkway North at exit 171, accident involving an overturned vehicle in the process of being cleared. Heads up for that. Good news for New Jersey Transit's North Jersey coastline. Service will resume today, but it is operating on a modified schedule. Make sure you check those timetables. Also have service modifications for the LIRR and Metro North to accommodate holiday travel. Street cleaning and meter rules, both suspended today. Ken, back to you.
All right, Alex, thank you. At 4:32, Thanksgiving celebrations are going to be a lot different this year across the country. Families are scaling back the number of attendees, of course, at Thanksgiving dinners over fears of COVID-19. Another change is going to be the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I put that in air quotes. Usually it looks like that. All those years past, packed crowds and people used to line down the street in Midtown to see the parade. This year, none of that. Eyewitness News reporter Candace McCowan is live in Midtown to explain the differences. Candace, good morning.
Yeah, Ken, good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you. Like you said, the parade will be very different this year. It's obviously rainy, which is going to be a deterrent for the crowds. They're asking everyone to not come out to the normal parade route, which will not exist. It's only going to be for one block. They're asking you to watch from home. But still this morning, they are preparing for that parade here in Midtown. This is on 34th Street. We are at 5th. You can see that it is shut down here. And there are some streets that were shut down for much of the week, but many more this morning. Like everything, this year will be completely different. Video shows the final rehearsals outside of Macy's Herald Square, where the Rockettes will be among the performers. But this year there will be no 2.5-mile parade route and there will be no spectators. You can also see a mix of live and pre-recorded elements, along with new floats that will be pulled by heavy utility vehicles and just a few people instead of those large groups of people. Also performances from Broadway shows like Hamilton, Ain't Too Proud, and Mean Girls. Macy's working with the city and the state to keep the parade, but making changes to keep everyone safe.
This was a compromise. Macy's was fantastic, and we worked closely with the state to figure out something that was safe, that was really compact, but also could bring the joy of what they do, not only to us, the whole nation watches this parade, and it's a great representation of New York City.
Yeah, and also since many of the other parades throughout the year were canceled, like the Puerto Rican Day Parade, Pride, and West Indian Day Parade, they're inviting some of those acts to perform here today. We saw them rehearsing earlier this week. Also, it's important to note that Roots are going to be opening the show. You'll have your cast of all-stars that you typically see, including Dolly Parton, Bebe Rexha, and of course my favorite, Patti LaBelle. Again, they're encouraging everybody to watch this from home. Live here in Midtown this morning, I'm Candace McCowan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Candace, grateful for what they can bring us. Thank you very much. Breaking news overnight, a major Supreme Court ruling against New York coronavirus restrictions. The court ruling that the state cannot put a capacity limit on houses of worship. Eyewitness News reporter Derick Waller is live in downtown Brooklyn with more. Derick, good morning.
Tony, good morning. And this morning, the Brooklyn Diocese is thanking the Supreme Court after this precedent-setting ruling overnight in their favor. And a lot of people did not see this ruling coming. The 5-4 ruling overturns New York State's capacity limits inside religious institutions. The majority opinion calling those pandemic-era orders a violation of the First Amendment's protection of the free exercise of religion. But what's so striking about this ruling is that it's a reversal from previous opinions the court made against similar claims in other states earlier this year when Justice Ginsburg was on the court. This is the first time the court's new Trump-appointed Justice Amy Coney Barrett has had a decisive role. Justice Neil Gorsuch, another Trump appointee, he had, oh my goodness, he had an opinion about this. He basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that, we can't live in a world where we're reopening liquor stores and bike shops, but shuttering religious institutions. Forgive me, my notes disappeared on my phone. But again, precedent-setting ruling here. So far, we have not heard anything from Governor Cuomo's team. Certainly, we're expecting to hear something from them later this morning. But it is worth noting that these restrictions are capacity limits. They didn't shutter churches. Those orange and red zone restrictions that we've been talking about, they limited the capacity in orange zones 33% and in red zones to 25% or 10 people. Reporting live here in downtown Brooklyn, I'm Derick Waller, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Still rocks it without his notes. Thank you very much, Derick, and happy Thanksgiving. It is 4:36, a warning about the dangers of holiday travel amid the alarming rise in COVID-19 cases. Governor Cuomo says that a post-Thanksgiving surge could overwhelm hospitals.
The more social activity, the more the infection rate goes up. We know that. What was the point of the close down? The point of the close down was reduce the social activity, reduce the spread.
Travelers returning to New York from out of state must quarantine 14 days or test negative within 3 days before leaving and then get tested 4 days after returning.
There's still no date for reopening New York City public schools. Mayor de Blasio promised a reopening plan will be announced next week. He says it will be a staggered reopening, school by school, depending on virus rates. Special education would come back first, followed by pre-K and elementary schools, and there will be more testing.
It is 4:37, a request for stores in Connecticut to not encourage crowds on Black Friday. It came directly from Governor Lamont.
Make sure that in a very serious way, you keep the social distancing. You make sure people are wearing the mask. You make sure they're 6 feet apart. Make sure that if you're getting crowded inside, you limit the number of entryways into your store.
The governor said that shoppers should try to buy online, arrange for curbside pickup, or wait until another day to look for gifts.
Let's get up to date on the latest on the transition in power. President-elect Biden is set to receive his first classified briefing on Monday. This is after weeks of delays by President Trump, who has still not conceded. President-elect Biden delivered a sobering but optimistic Thanksgiving address, saying just 3 of his family members will be together for Thanksgiving dinner. He urged everyone to not surrender to the fatigue caused by the pandemic.
To fight this disease, we owe it to one another. It's literally our patriotic duty as Americans. It means wearing a mask, keeping social distancing, limiting the size of any group we're in.
And in contrast, President Trump spent part of his day making what experts say are more baseless claims about voter fraud during the election. He did this during a call-in to a GOP event in Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania certified President-elect Biden's victory on Tuesday. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris dropped by a food kitchen in the nation's capital. Harris and her husband, Doug Emhoff, visited the D.C. Central Kitchen. That's a nonprofit that expects to serve 10,000 meals this Thanksgiving. The vice president-elect thanked the volunteers for all their dedicated work. She and her husband will be spending Thanksgiving in Washington.
It is 4:39 on this Thanksgiving morning. You're never more than 7 minutes away from weather and traffic. If you have never seen Sam Champion's neck due to neckties in the last 3 decades, here's your big opportunity. Look at the screen. Good morning, sir.
Indeed, I physically have one. All right, let's look at what's going on outside this morning. We've got a lot of clouds and rain that are with us. We've got a gusty south wind, and that wind is ushering in some milder air. So as we watch this rain move in, and as the skies clear later on this afternoon into the evening hours, we're going to keep the mild air around. We're going to keep that south connection. Here's why we can't say the rain shuts down too quickly. We've got that rain moving. Even though the line is fairly narrow and right across us, there's some heavy embedded rain moving up from the south, and then there's a dry moment and a little bit more back off to the west. So it is going to take about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon for us to get all that through. 56 to 61 is a range that is comfortable for the day today. Hope you get a chance to enjoy everything at home. Thursday, we're drying later on in the day. It's going to take 3 or 4 o'clock, and the farther west you are, the brighter the skies will get. What's going on, Alex Lee?
We're pretty busy right now, Sam. On the Garden State Parkway, 3 separate issues to tell you about. The first one, a stalled vehicle. It's on the northbound side at exit 138. Then we also have an accident southbound further north. It's coming into the hillside past Cack Valley. Tolls the left lane and shoulder going to be closed off with this one. And then northbound again at exit 171, an accident involving an overturned vehicle. Take it easy. It's raining. The roadways are going to be slicker than usual. We also, because of this, have a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit in place both ways across the Tappan Zee Bridge. Street cleaning and meter rules both suspended today for the holiday. Ken, over to you.
All right, Alex, thank you. 4:41's our time. Breaking news, multiple people stabbed in Suffolk County. What police are saying about the investigation. Also ahead, an update on one of the officers injured in a shooting in Queens. And many people will use Zoom to video chat with family this Thanksgiving. How the company is going one step further to help families during the holidays.